Hello, welcome to another Search with Sean. I'm so excited about this episode. I've got so much to cover. So first I'll start with who I am. So if you don't know by now, my name is Sean. I've worked in the digital marketing space for quite a few years now, and SEO especially, focused on that for a good few years now as well. I'm currently the SEO manager at Macmillan Cancer Support, which I love my job, and I get to really delve into all aspects of SEO, and it's for a great cause, obviously. For these videos, they're covering all the latest SEO and AI news. It's a fast-moving space, especially right now. I've got so much to cover in this episode. I'm going to try and cram it in. I don't know how long this video will take, but it might take a while. And I couldn't even fit it all in. I have to put some to the next episode as well. So yeah, we've got a lot to cover. So I won't babble on too much, and I'll get cracking with the first sort of slide, which really summarizes. Actually, let me just switch this. So just to summarize what's going to go on now. So I've done the introduction. Just to recap, if you haven't seen, and I'll put a link to the first episode, but we covered the Google document leaks, which obviously there's been a lot going on around that, a lot of different opinions and viewpoints on that. So yeah, we will also cover that in this episode as well. But if you want to go back and to see what I initially said, then please do go back and watch. And also the main one of the other main stories was about the Google AI overviews issue. Again, lots of different viewpoints there. So yeah, go back and watch that if you want to learn more about it. I did cover other things as well, but they were the main stories. And then coming up in this episode, the main stories are going over the Google document leaks again. There's been some more revelations around that, viewpoints, and so on. Also, SEO in crisis, apparently, says a search scientist. So we'll go over that story, quite interesting one. Some viewpoints there. OpenAI developments, lots going on with OpenAI, so we'll look into that. And also, Apple had a big event and saying more about what they're going to do with AI. So that should be interesting. And then much more. We've got, if we've got time, we'll go over those. So let's start off with the Google document leaks and following up from what we said last time. And there's again, I've put all the links to all these stories, everything we covered in this video, in the description. So hopefully you can watch and read in your own time as well, but I'll try and summarize in this video. So there is a video also that was created by Sky, and it featured Mike King and Rand Fishkin, who obviously was very involved in the initial leak of these API documents. And some of the key insights included from this video, they go over the key insights about the Google API document leak. Very interesting to see their point of view. They said about no follow links from strong publishers still help and add value, something that's heavily debated in the SEO world. And Mike King was talking about how tough it is right now to get indexed at all. The content has to be valuable enough, something, it has to be unique and valuable enough. And something I'm currently looking at using tools like Botify to try and find the values of these pages. There's also another video that you'll find a link for, and it also included Mike King. He got around last week. He was nearly on everything I saw. He's a great talker though, and he's very good to watch, and I learned a lot from him. But this was a video by Design Rush, and Mike King talks about the original story of the leak, further information, quite interesting, the details around it. They also talk about click manipulation, and they share their thoughts on why Google might have lied to us about this. I mean, some people say they haven't lied, but so that was covered, and really good video actually. So I suggest you go and watch the whole thing. And yeah, and just on that, it's quite interesting since the whole sort of incident. And I'll move on to something else I was just about to jump onto something around the AI side, but additional findings have come out. A lot of people digging into the API leaks and what it may mean and things like that. And Chris Long, who I really recommend following on LinkedIn, he posts some really good short videos about different things, not always about all different topics around SEO and digital marketing. And the URL history attribute indicates Google is storing previous versions of pages. And it goes on to say the URL history attributes note that if a doc has more than 20 changes, we only keep the last 20 changes here to avoid adding too much data. This indicates that Google actually keeps a record of the last 20 versions of a given page and stores them in the index. This means that it has its own Wayback Machine, as many people probably use the website. If you will, of 20 different versions of a page. And Chris goes on to say, pure speculation, but he says it's entirely possible that Google could lean on those historical versions of certain parts of the ranking indexing. For instance, we've seen examples on our own site where historical title tags, that were changed were still getting shown in the SERP, even though the page has been updated months ago. Google keeping a historical version of the page would explain why. So yes, it's very interesting around that. And also there's been, I say, lots of people digging into it. And this is a document from Search Engine Land. Again, all the links are in the description, but this is 5 local SEO insights found from the Google API document leak. And I just read through them and briefly explain. So video content, websites with over 50% video URLs are classified as video focus, potentially boosting their presence in search results. Bot clicks and craps signals, that's CRAPS, and I'll explain what that means in a minute. Clicks on search results might influence local rankings. So Andrew Shotland thinks craps, again I'll explain, which stands for clicks. Well, he thinks it may stand for click and results prediction system. This suggests that a specific location could have a specific score for how clicks on results and affect rankings. And then also local authority versus topic authority. So optimizing title tags and increasing locality relevance could improve local rankings. And paid click influence. So Rand Fishkin recently pondered, if Chrome click stream data is used for rankings, does that mean paid clicks can boost organic rankings? Andrew Shotland from Search Engine Journal said the following about it. In local search, we have your standard PPC ads, but we also have Google Local Service Ads, also known as LSAs, which show up above local packs and other local surfaces. It seems to me it would be pretty straightforward to test different ad units against rankings and organic clicks. Actually, that might cost you some money. So better yet, how about tracking some competitors who are spending a lot of money on these and seeing how their rankings change or don't change? And finally, result diversity with twiddlers. It's I must admit, it's quite a new word for me. I've seen it crop up now and again, but I never really, looked too much into it. But limited specific types of results, e.g. directories, on SERPs to enhance ranking strategies. So twiddlers are algorithms or mechanisms used by search engines like Google to adjust and balance the diversity of search results. They help manage the types of content shown on search result pages to ensure that users get a varied and comprehensive set of results rather than being dominated by a single type of result, such as directories or specific websites. So, some interesting things there. I think that actually not just for local, it's just generally interesting potential findings from that leak. And also in the description, there's a really good link. Aleda Solis, who's so good for the industry, has created a spreadsheet that's compiled all the major bits and bobs of analysis and resources around this leak. Just compressed it into like a spreadsheet, as I say, and there are links in there. So I thought that was, worth noting. And also just off the back of last week, and something I put it within this, but really, obviously it's a kind of different story, but I'll still share it, that Google AI overviews show only for 15% of queries, down from 84%. So again, we touched upon this last week, but obviously there was some sort of changes seen perhaps on the back of it. Perhaps it was going to happen either way. But new data from BrightEdge shows that Google is showing far fewer AI overviews than it did when it first launched them as a beta under the search generative experience. Google went from showing AI overviews for 84% of queries to showing them for less than 15% of queries. And here's some data from BrightEdge on the factors that influence when an AI overview shows. So AI overviews are 195% more likely to appear when feature snippets are present. Questions are more likely to trigger an AI overview. Local queries are least likely to have an AI overview, and site links are also less likely to trigger an AI overview. These results are usually associated with brand terms, indicating that Google is reducing the risk of providing misinformation for brands. So yeah, a lot going on, and I'm trying to grab it in. Hopefully we'll cover most of this week. And I'll just take a quick drink because there's a lot of talking. I do appreciate it, but hopefully you understand there's a lot going on. So topic 2, and we just show quite a dramatic picture, but so topic 2, SEO in crisis. Moz search scientist warns of challenges ahead. So speaking at MozCon's 20th annual conference, doing an exclusive interview with search engine journal Tom Capper, Moz's senior search scientist, covered the following. I didn't even know search scientist was a thing, I must admit, but it sounded pretty cool. I don't know how you become it, but it does sound really cool. I like the title. So he examined how Google's AI overview results, aggressively monetized and evolving search intents, pose challenges for companies relying on SEO. He noted 21% of informational searches now surface a feature snippet result, which can satisfy users without a click. And we did touch upon this last week, but so yeah, you can watch that back, episode 1. Kappa cautioned that Google's rush to implement AI overviews can negatively impact the company's brand image. He said, if you've got any willingness at all to write something more interesting, then I think you can still play an organic. If that was the end of the quote, but I guess it makes sense. He said, to conclude, I don't think Google will ever reach the point where Google doesn't send traffic at all, because ultimately that is their business model. People expect when they search Google that they'll end up going to other websites. If people don't have that expectation, they won't click on ads. If people aren't clicking on ads, Google doesn't make money. So you can read that full article in the description, and I'll probably be saying that a lot, but there's a lot of links and a lot of interesting stuff to read and catch up on. And I say I'm going through this quick because we have got tons to get through, and I don't want a really, really long video, but there is loads of stuff that's quite interesting. So moving on to story 3. There we go. So OpenAI announced new partnerships. So OpenAI has announced 30 significant deals with tech and media brands to date, including 3 in the past week with Vox Media, The Atlantic, and the World Association of Newspapers and News Publishers. These partnerships will undoubtedly lead to a greater discovery in OpenAI products. Think featured content and citations in ChatGPT. As we've seen from the Google Reddit deal, brands with partnerships tend to get favorable placement, which is good news for those with such deals, but bad news if you're competing against them, which I know that a lot of companies that haven't got these deals are very worried and are making a lot of noise, which is understandable. If they rely heavily on organic and these other companies are signing deals and maybe you're not as big as them, you're gonna suffer. So yeah, I get why they're very worried. Brands that sign on with OpenAI will be discoverable. It's been a long day already, but we got there. Be discoverable in OpenAI's products, including ChatGPT, as we said. OpenAI will also use the content from these brands to train its system. And if you want to see all the partnerships that OpenAI has signed to date, then the link is below as well. And just on that subject, it's quite interesting. The next couple of bits, I think, and this was found in The Guardian, and it connected to OpenAI and concerns around it. OpenAI and Google DeepMind workers warn of AI industry risk in open letter. A group of current and former employees at prominent artificial intelligence companies issued an open letter that warned of a lack of safety oversight within the industry and called for increased protections for whistleblowers. The letter, which calls for a right to warn about artificial intelligence, is one of the most public statements about the dangers of AI from employees within what is generally a secretive industry. 11 current and former OpenAI workers signed the letter, along with 2 current or former Google DeepMind employees. In reply, OpenAI said, We're proud of our track record providing the most capable and safest AI systems and believe in our scientific approach to addressing risk. We agree that a rigorous debate is crucial given the significance of this technology, and will continue to engage with governments, civil society, and other communities around the world. So it's probably what you expect from OpenAI. They're not going to, try and raise the alarm too much. Then say they're aware of these issues and that they're mitigating against them, and we expect that. But also another really interesting one, and this was on Sky News, and it's of Pope Francis warns AI poses risks to human dignity itself. The Pope warned it must be closely monitored to maintain human dignity and control. He said, We would condemn humanity to a future without hope if we took away people's ability to make decisions about themselves and their lives by dooming them to depend on the choices of machines. He also said, we need to ensure and safeguard a space for proper human control over the choices made by artificial intelligent programs. Human dignity itself depends on it. So, we've heard big voices in the past talk about the concerns of AI. Even the godfather of AI himself said, put out warnings around it. So, now the Pope's come out. So, a lot of voices being concerned around AI. Obviously, it can do a lot of good, but in the wrong hands, it can do bad as well, depending on how it's trained. So, yeah, and it isn't just about ChatGPT. AI can be put into anything. So, they definitely, it's interesting to see these different people coming out speaking about it. Story 4 is all about Apple and AI. And again, all the information's in the description. But starting on June 10th, Apple had their annual Worldwide Developers Conference in California. We saw the launch of a new personal intelligence system leveraging generative AI models to provide personalized assistance based on the user's on-device data. A partnership with OpenAI to integrate ChatGPT into Apple devices, enhancing AI capabilities where prioritizing privacy through on-device processing, which we'll cover next as well. So OpenAI and Apple announced partnership to integrate ChatGPT into Apple experiences. So Apple is integrating ChatGPT into experiences within iOS, iPadOS, and macOS, allowing users to access ChatGPT's capabilities, including image and document understanding, without needing to jump between tools. Siri can also tap into ChatGPT's intelligence when helpful. Additionally, ChatGPT will be available in Apple's system-wide writing tools to help users generate content for anything they are writing about. Privacy protections are built in when accessing ChatGPT within Siri and writing tools. Requests are not stored by OpenAI and users' IP addresses are obscured. Users can also choose to connect their ChatGPT account, which means their data preferences will apply under ChatGPT's policies. The ChatGPT integration powered by ChatGPT 4 will come into iOS, iPadOS, and macOS later this year. Users can access it for free without creating an account. And ChatGPT subscribers can connect their accounts and access paid features right from these experiences. So yeah, I mean, I don't use Apple devices myself. I'm more of a, Samsung kind of Android user, but sounds quite interesting. Some people might be concerned that they're going to have no choice and that AI is going to learn everything about them, pretty much. But some would be really excited. And also just found some, again, the links in the description, but someone called Zain Khan on LinkedIn, and describe some of the other findings from the event and from the announcement. So here's some other things you could possibly do with it. Ask Apple Intelligence questions about your files and get answers. So you'll be able to ask things like a document sent by a colleague last week. You can ask it to explore it and understand it. Play a podcast your friend recommended. Find photos with specific people in them. Find documents and autofill forms. So when you're filling out a form, you can just ask Siri to find a personal document like a driver's license from your photos and autofill the details from the document into the form. On-screen awareness and in-app actions. So you can command Siri to automatically do specific things like find photos of you wearing a green jacket, ask it to edit a photo and make it pop for you, summarize a document and email it to a colleague. It has cleanup features, so you can remove unwanted objects or people in the background of your images with the power of AI. Generate emojis of your choice in seconds. So you can either pick yourself or a friend and create emojis that look just like them. AI-powered call transcripts. So transcribe your calls, turn them into summaries, and share them across your apps and emails. I think for me, that one's really cool. I mean, if you had that for work, it's quite, I know there are tools already out there with AI powered, but if you have that built into your phone, I think that is a bit of a game changer actually. So I think that's pretty cool. That one. So yeah, we're running through these, but so all the links are in the description. If you are enjoying it so far, please do like and subscribe. I really am appreciative for everyone who's done it so far. It's a new channel. I've got a lot planned. I know I'm a bit raw, but I am, hopefully going to get better at all this. And, I've got a lot of things to use. So I think it's lined up with some really great people and some other type of videos. You always see my how-to video, or not how-to, but kind of all about structured data. And I've got a follow-up one with some examples coming up with that. So yeah, we've got a lot planned. And if you can subscribe, you'll be the first to see all those things coming up. So yeah, we're just going to other news now, which is always exciting because it's a range of different things. So first of all is all around structured data, funny enough. So I've just done the video, which you can find on my channel. And this is Google has announced new structured data for discussion forum and profile page structured data on Google search with new markup and also new search console reports. So Google said that this markup works with Google search features that are designed to show first-person perspectives from social media platforms, forums, and other communities. Implementing this structured data will ensure what search shows in the features is as accurate and complete as possible. So the profile page markup is designed for any site where creators, which Google says are either people or organizations, share first-hand perspectives. Google said the following: the discussion forum posting markup is for any forum style site where people collectively share first-hand perspectives. When forum sites add this markup, Google search says can better identify online discussions across the web and make use of this markup in features such as discussions of forums and perspectives. And we've seen, Google really testing out a lot of these sort of things they just said. We've seen forums found on the main Google search, and we've all seen perspectives as well. So they're clearly pushing for more markup around that to get better data around it. And forums with this markup are considered for having their content appear in the perspective and discussion forums features, as I just said. However, the use of the markup doesn't guarantee appearance. So obviously, as I said in that all about featured structured data, video that I put out last week, none of it ever guarantees you anything. But obviously, it gives you a lot better chance than competitors if you have it and they don't. So I still think it's worth doing, and it's also best practice. You structured your data in the right way. So I put a link to that structured data video, and like I say, soon I'm going to have a follow-up video showing some examples of how people have used structured data schema in the right way, or at least I deem to be a good way, and in all different fields and industries. So subscribe if you want to see that as well. Should be a good one. So on the second story is also structured data related. So Google updated their structured data guidelines to reflect support for site-wide return policy within the organization structured data. So this eliminates the need to add redundant return policy information for every single product listing structured data, and can result in more traffic and sales online merchants. This doesn't mean that merchants are required to change their current structured data. The old method remains unchanged. This simply adds an alternative way that is more streamlined and reduces the size of the product structured data. Google's changing organization structured data will be reflected in the brand panel that Google shows when someone searches on a brand name. The updated brand panel will feature a new entry that reflects the company's return policy. So obviously more for e-commerce, but yeah, really sort of, just trying to streamline structured data so it's not so you've got to fit everything onto, every single product page, which is a good move. Let's get another drink. A lot of talking. It's very hot today as well. Makes a change, but it's not good for fellow hay fever sufferers. I'm trying to fight off sneezing and dehydration, but we can't complain to have sun in England. So still I prefer the sun. It just brings a few things with it. Okay, on to the next story, and This is from a platform called Botify, and you may not use it, but it is really good. Again, not being paid to say that, but it's a really good platform. And anyway, it's added OpenAI ChatGPT crawl to its log file analysis functionalities. So you can discover how OpenAI, amongst other search engines, crawls your web pages. And I have used this feature myself, and it's really cool to see. Right now there's only a few tools out there that really give you that sort of information. And obviously some are better than others at showing it. So yes, it's good to see these tools are starting to build these sort of it's ChatGPT or other things around AI overviews or whatever. You want to see if you're being brought up or if you're getting clicks through from these results. So hopefully that's going to be more and more featured thing going forward with the different tools that SEOs use. So the next story is Google's Gary Illes, and I really hope, I'm really bad at pronunciation, so I probably have really done a bad job there, but most people would know him anyway, and the links in the description. But hopefully I didn't do that bad of a job. But Gary said that last mod signal is binary. So in a recent LinkedIn discussion, Gary Illes, an analyst at Google, revealed that the search engine takes a binary approach when assessing a website's last mod signal from sitemaps. So the last mod tag indicates the date of the most recent significant update to a web page, helping search engines prioritize crawling and indexing. When Mark Williams Cook asked if Google had a reputation system to gauge how much to trust the site's reported last mod dates, it has stated it's binary. We either trust it or we don't. And Gary responds to the suggestion Google doesn't factor in a website's history or gradual build trust in the last mod values being reported. So he said he doesn't factor in a website's history or gradual build in trust in the last mod values being reported. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. And Google either accepts the last mod dates provided in a site's sitemap as accurate or disregards them. So yeah, it's just saying it's either yes or no. It's not like sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. They take some of it, they don't take the other bit. It's yes or no. The binary approach reinforces the need to implement the last mod tag correctly and only specify dates when making meaningful changes. So yeah, the links in the description, as I say. I'd recommend following both of them, actually, Gary and Mark Williams Cook. Both really insightful. And you get a lot of, especially from Gary because he works at Google, some insights, a bit like John Mueller and people like that. The next story, so this is a bit of a long one, but it was really interesting, and I wanted to make a big deal of it because there's some really big insights, actually. Another sort of Google person talking, so it's worth listening. And Search Engine Land's Barry Schwartz, legend in the industry, interviewed Elizabeth Tucker, the director of product management at Google Search. And it was at the SMX Advance event, and it opened with this interview. And here are some highlights. They're mainly questions and points being made by Elizabeth. So the question was, what should SEOs and content creators think about when building content to serve the user and rank well in search? And Elizabeth said, Google's North Star is getting people to satisfying and helpful results. She paraphrased a well-known quote from NHL, that's hockey, ice hockey if you don't know, legend Wayne Gretzky, which is that SEOs and content creators need to skate where the puck is going to be, not where it has been. Think about what we are trying to do and where we are going and aim for that. Think about content that's helpful, satisfying, and has good experiences. And she also made a point saying some SEOs have misconceptions about how rankings work and can get too caught up in the technical details. There is no one size fits all solution and to making great content, because great content comes in many flavors, shapes, and sizes, Tucker said. Her advice: focus on the big picture. We are trying to satisfy people with all these different informational needs, with all sorts of different great types of content and great websites. I do worry that people kind of get down in the weeds on specific technical details or signals we may or may not have. It might take away from the big picture question, that is this helpful, satisfying content, and are people going to have a great experience? And the next question was, why was the March 2024 core update rollout? Why did it take 45 days? In short, this is what she said in reply. In short, it was a lot of work. Google carefully changed a lot of different core systems. There was some re-architecture work, to help Google do a better job of showing helpful content. This included improving its core systems by bringing in new signals. And Tucker went on to say, we actually had a mini war room going on. We were doing live monitoring of capacity in our data centers because it is unusual for us to roll out so many different changes at once. We did so successfully. However, there were a few issues when we noticed hiccups. For example, an unexpected capacity issue. We paused, we slowed down, and we made sure things rolled out smoothly. So yes, it took 45 days. We really do have to be careful when rolling out changes to these large-scale systems that have to operate around the world for billions of queries a day in all languages. There's a lot of hard engineering we need to do to make sure that search works successfully. So I think that makes perfect sense. I mean, I think, it's so big, Google, and how they operate. And, I'm sure one little change can make so many potential errors. So you think about when they do huge changes and several at the same time, how big that is. I mean, if anyone's done a migration on a website, just medium, just a large size migration, how many things could go wrong? You think about Google, the biggest search engine in the world. It makes sense. I think SEOs, we just get a bit, things aren't as normal, certain usually updates take a certain amount of time. When it goes a bit over or we're not getting much communication, we get a bit, what does this mean? So yeah, I think maybe Google could do better with communication sometimes, but it's understandable why it takes so long. And the next question was Google's March 2024 core update the largest core update to date? So it said the March 2024 core update was unprecedented, according to Tucker. She agreed this was the largest core update in Google's history. When she was discussing the update with executives, she was told not to break Google. So we did a couple of different updates to different core systems simultaneously. I don't think we've ever quite done that before. We took our time and we did it right. We did not break search. That was one of our big goals. So, I mean, some may argue it's a little bit broke at the moment. Probably, I know quite a few SEOs have said it's probably the worst state it's been in for a very, very long time, if not ever. So some may argue with that, but I guess obviously the core functionalities will work as they should. So I guess in that principle, they've done the job. And the next question was, what led to a 45% reduction in unhelpful content? So in March, Google said its search quality enhancements would reduce unhelpful content by 40%. Why did that number change to 45% when Google announced the rollout had been completed, and that was the question posed. And Tucker explained, before we roll something out live to 100% of Google traffic, we are testing it in a test environment. Sometimes there can be a little bit of a difference in performance that we see in a testing environment versus a full rollout, which I think, again, most people understand if they've done migrations and things, that's the case. The numbers that I trust are the numbers that after we've rolled out to 100% of Google traffic, and then we've done multiple point in time measurements on real live traffic and gotten consistent numbers, and that's where the 45% came from. Those real measurements after rollout. And the next question was, how does Google define low quality? Most SEOs and content creators have been frustrated by Google's unclear definition of low quality content. That was a question posed. Tucker told us that Google didn't have a formal definition of quality when she started working there. She went on to say, we rigorously define high quality, low quality. We give examples. And this document is truly the foundation of how third-party evaluators then go and evaluate our results for quality. And I think what makes quality so incredibly difficult is there isn't a one-size-fits-all easy way to think about it. It's actually a fairly nuanced thing, because what you want in high-quality result for a search like symptoms of a heart attack, you really want accurate, comprehensive information. Might be really different than what you might think of a search for cute kittens. You really want adorable kittens. So we've laid it all out in our search quality rated guidelines. We take into account the quality of the main content, things like accuracy for informational content, talent and skill. We look at things like page experience. Can people find the main content easily? We have EEAT, experience, expertise, authoritative, trustworthiness. We have a lot of things we think about, and then we play different roles depending on the different type of content. So take a look, it's all there. So I've put those guidelines in the description as well, if you haven't ever seen them, which I'll be very surprised you haven't. But yeah, take a look, and they will explain some of that stuff. There's a point made: Google won't discuss any signals mentioned in the leak. So they have released a statement, as we discussed in episode 1, if you want to go back and hear that. But as for the huge Google Content API documentation leak, Tucker declined to discuss any specific signals, adding, there are bad actors. When we release a lot of information about how specific signals work, it becomes a vector for abuse. That's frustrating for me too. And onto the last few points made by Elizabeth Tucker. Google wants feedback from SEOs, content creators, and publishers. Tucker's message was simple. We're listening. We care. Keep the feedback coming, she added. We're working hard to make sure that search lives up to their expectations, not only of people who come to search, but also the creators, publishers who are putting great content out there. So we'll keep working on it. Keep talking to us. We're listening. It'll be interesting to see if content creators believe that's the case, but they say they're listening, so we have to respect that. And the last point was SEOs play a vital role in Google search, she said. SEOs play 2 wonderful roles, according to Tucker. Making great websites. SEOs help create great content and page experience for people that Google search can also understand, so it can surface the best for the web. And providing feedback. Tucker said SEOs are a great group that holds Google to its own high standards. So a huge shout out and thank you to everyone in the SEO community. So a shout out to all the SEOs. So that's good to hear that they're still thinking about us after all these changes. And the last story of the week is one from Search Engine Land. Again, the link is in the description. 96% of sites in Google's top 10 positions have over 1,000 links from unique domains. So Google has been saying that links are no longer one of the top 3 ranking signals and needs very few links to rank pages. However, clearly websites that rank well tend to have more backlinks. But it's also true that websites that rank well tend to attract a lot more backlinks because they rank so well. So it's a bit of a chicken egg situation. And this should be considered. Not all links have equal value, as we know. Variables that could consider influence the value of the link include the authoritativeness of the linking site, anchor text, and whether people actually click on the link. So I think we know that, a link from a really strong publisher is a lot more authoritativeness, shows a lot more authoritativeness than, loads of links from very average, below average websites. And we know that. So that's no real surprise. That said, and about the data from this analysis, which you can read the whole thing, as I say, from the link in the description, is the results are based on an analysis of the top 10 Google search results, consisting of 1,113 unique websites for 200 random commercial intent keyword phrases. So, none of that really surprises me. But it is kind of, when you look at Google search results and you see the big companies up there, and because of their marketing budgets, because of their names they have, they are going to keep getting backlinks. They are going to get very strong backlinks and linking to all the main publishers. And, if rank links are very powerful still, which I think they are, then that's going to make it even harder to get past them potentially. So, one to consider. And also, does it mean that, again, Google are trying to pull the wool over our eyes and say one thing and actually it's not the case? Who knows? But maybe that's just the direction they want to go in, but it's not quite there yet. Interesting. So yeah, that's it for this episode, and a lot packed in. If you've got any questions about any of it, feel free to contact me on LinkedIn. The details are there. Or obviously you can leave a comment. I love to hear your comments and your thoughts on all these stories. If there's anything you want me to dig deeper into or have any questions about, I can answer, try to answer. I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I just like reading about these things and telling you about them. But yeah, thank you for listening to the whole thing if you have, and please do like the video. It really helps in the algorithms of YouTube, and also subscribe. That really does help me and the channel, and again, in the algorithms will help this video get seen, and the channel. As I say, I've got loads of things coming up which is well worth subscribing for. Interviews with some really great people. I can't say them now because something might happen in the meantime and they pull out. But yeah, I've got at least 3 or 4 really, really great interviews. I've got another video coming up around structured data and schema. Like I say, the examples following up from that previous video around structured data you can find on the channel. And also episode 3, which I hope to be joined by a couple of really, really great people as well on that show, but we'll see. And if you are interested in co-hosting with me, then do drop me a line as well on LinkedIn or in the comments, and we can make something happen. And also, if you want to come on as a guest and talk about, if you've got a tool or product you want to discuss, or just want to talk about the latest stories with me, I'll be more than delighted. If you're interested in SEO or AI, then do let me know. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the show. It's been really great talking about them. Really, really lots of stuff going on. And as I say, I've had to move some stuff over to the next episode because there's just so much. So yeah, please like and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.